So if you'd like to see and learn a magician's all-time favorite classic card trick, then you've come to the right place. Let's jump into the magic. So before we even begin, I'm going to make a prediction, and I will place this prediction in a see-through cup, which you can see through this performance. So we'll come back to that in just a bit. And we are going to have a card named. So we'll do it this way. I'm going to go across the cards to an audience member, and I say you could just name anyone you like. Okay? And don't worry, I can see it. It's not that kind of trick. And they name anyone they like. Let's say in this case they name the 5 of hearts. And I go, okay, we'll get back to the 5 of hearts in 1 second. And I want to note the top couple cards, 7 of spades and 3 of clubs. Just wanting to be fair the whole way through so you can actually see it before the magic happens. What exactly is going to happen? Well, hopefully, from the middle of the pack, one card is going to rise to the top, and the goal is to have your card, the 5 of hearts, rise right to the top. That quickly. We'll get the 5 of hearts, and we'll place it right along the center, back into the middle. You can see it just like so. And slowly we screw it on up, and as fairly as it can be, it still rises right to the top. Quite odd, huh? We'll try it again. This time we will actually make it a little bit more fair. We'll get it right here, okay? And we'll actually dribble it right over all the cards. And somehow, lo and behold, that card still rises right to the top. Very weird. To make it more impossible, and to say that there's no duplicates or anything of that nature, we are going to have the card signed, and they can sign it however they want with their initials in the corner, or whatever they feel like. So let's just say I put my own initials, like so. Give the card away so it dries, and you can actually see it. DP, there you go. Okay, just for those initials. And the other question, or a question most people would ask is, so why does the card rise to the top? And it's a very, very honestly good question. And we can place the card into the middle before I even continue with this. Okay? And it's because even if I place it, let's say, to the middle, or it rises to, let's say, the bottom, I don't think it's just as exciting. Top is much cooler, as you can probably tell. Place in the middle, or actually finding the card in the middle, can be quite confusing. So that's why we still have the card rise continually to the top. No matter, even through all the struggles and triumphs, having it just rise right to the top can just be an amazing trick, just like that. And just for anyone curious. And I actually want to try one other thing, because we don't want it to rise too many times. Otherwise, this card becomes overconfident, as you can probably tell. You can actually place this card here. The audience can place their card right there. And it can rise right there. Now, that has been a little bit of fun, though I bet people are wondering about the prediction as well, because that was, since the beginning, I had made a prediction. Prediction of what if the card was openly selected, per se. And that's probably a very, very fair question to ask. And it's a fair thing. I was going to put it away in the card box. Oh, we'll go without it. Okay. And the thing is, let me lift it on up. And the spectator can lift it on up, which makes it even more fair for this. Okay. Since the beginning, we made a prediction of one card. And it could be anything. It could be a prediction of writing, saying that I had predicted you were going to select freely chosen the 5 of hearts. That would be a good trick. Though I think even more impossible is it to appear with your signature, just like that. And that is my take on the classic ACR. Hope you enjoyed it. So before we jump into the explanation, as always, like and subscribe. It helps out the channel greatly. Jumping into the explanation, this is my kind of semi-modern thoughts on the current ACR plot. The general thing was I just see the same moves over and over again, and it just wasn't enticing to me. I wanted to drag away from the normal and make it more exciting and more natural, per se. And the closing prediction, or the paper-clipped edition, which was Jay Sankey's. You should check it out. Great DVD, has a bunch of stuff on it. And it was just generally what a lot of magicians do, as it's a great closer. It's jumping to an impossible place. If it's continually jumping to the top, I covered top, bottom, different areas, and jumps to the mouth. And then jumping to here can also seem quite logical to spectators. And it's just a bonus to the ACR, which is really, really cool. So the general idea is you're going to need to know a bunch of sleights, and it'll be a really an overview of what you already know, I would assume. Again, it's an intermediate level effect, so you want to have some knowledge before going into this style effect. I will mention sleights like culling, so just different things. And you can opt to switch out different phases for what you like. This is just my general thoughts on how I do my ACR currently. So we have a card folded up of the same here. It can be a joker, it can be whatever, because it's never going to really be seen. Some people like to have an all-white card folded up and then used with the same backing because of the borders and stuff. I don't worry about it. I just fold up a card, just as well as you can. Put a paper clip on it, and you're good to go. And then a cup as well, so you could add some tension to it, and it makes it less likely a spectator just grabs for the prediction and just opens it. We create a little layer. So we have that there. We mentioned we're going to do it, and when we begin, we put it right on top. Okay. You're also going to need a pen, per se the usual, and a deck of cards you don't mind destroying, or if it's a professional event, the deck of cards that will be, one card will be signed and given away, folded, stuff of that nature. So you have to be ready for that situation, or cheaper deck of cards, however you want to go about it. So to begin, and this is just my style of doing it, some people just like to have a card selected. I just like to go about it after giving a casual shuffle, whichever. Spread the cards and say you can name any card you like, and they have a free choice of any one they want. And so let's say they name Jack of Hearts in this case, or you know what, let's just say, just for a random card, 10 Hearts. Let's say they say the 10 Hearts. 10 Hearts, okay. And in this case, if you want to do a normal method, you can actually get 2 cards above the 10 of Hearts and then undercut and be able to get to the top, third from the top. I like to be able to cull so I can give this very cool fairness to it. So I show the 10 of Hearts, I clip, I cull, and then I show and I clip it while showing the top 2 cards, the 9 of Spades and 4 Clubs, trying to be fair that the card hasn't risen to the top, and you can display it in a very fair, open manner while the card's at the back. Then, after doing that, I open up, I get the card and position it so it is third from the top, right below the 9 of Spades, close everything up, turn it over, and I've got third from the top. Okay? Now, you have 2 options. You could either go directly for it in a more bold manner or more casually. You can turn a top card and mention the plot, which is a good lead into it. Now, the card isn't, the goal will be that the card will rise to the top, okay, with a magical wave per se, and that's how it usually happens. And then you can show it like that. Another way, if you want to be more bold about it, is the goal is the card to rise to the top, and if it was to rise to the top early, that would be a pretty good trick, don't you think? And then that's pretty humorous because it just happened and people are not sure how to react. It's quite crazy. Either way, we show after the display that the card is on top, turn it down, and then the beginning phase, I push up the card, nudge up the card halfway, lift up half the deck, middle finger and thumb, slide it off so it's sticking out, slap it on top so just that card's sticking out, and then slide the cards back in a Dan and Dave style thing, or something I saw Dan and Dave do. Slide the cards back using your first and second finger, whee, so it looks cool. And so you get this cascade of cards just like all slowly covering over that card. It seems so fair and a cool display. And while you're squaring up, you can easily get a double right here in the back cards, because the cards are now second from the top. And then after squaring everything up, you can show the card's still risen to the top. You can do whatever display you like. You can do a push off, like a rotating push off like this. I originally was, while I was blanking, I was originally thinking I was supposed to do this one where you can lift off with your thumb. This is even cooler in my opinion. Popping it with the thumb to the corner, going this way, boom. Lift off with middle finger and thumb. You see his card squared. Drop it right on top, and then you can dribble and show it. Or in another case, you can be able to 10 hearts still. Don't worry, the 10 hearts is still right here. It's still second from the top. I was going to, after displaying it, I turned down. I have it right here, and then instead of dropping on top, I just dribble them right on top, so it seems like it's just really going in there. It's being lost, and then boom, show it. Kind of like a Leonard Green kind of thing. It's cool. Anyways, so then we show it's on top. Cool. From here, after rising a couple times, people are saying, hey, it's impossible. Hey, this is crazy. And then they can put their little signature on it, whatever they want, initials. Just as long as they know it's their card. Red card, using a black marker, red card for contrast, you're able to pick it up a little bit more, see the card. So let's say their name or initials are, in this case, CA. California. Anyways, and then just want to make sure it's extra dry. Okay, and you're in a great position to do so. Seems like nothing's happening. Great, you're in a very fair state. From here, I like to be able to, you can set up however you want. My setup is to be able to pick up cards from the bottom, and I do it while explaining at the same time, hitting two birds with one stone. And I like to be able to do it in a fair manner by culling the card. I say, you're probably wondering why the card keeps on rising to the top, which is a very fair question, as I lose the card inside the pack. And then I cull it, and I cull it directly to the bottom, and then I score it on up in a casual manner, and then I turn up the cards to show it rose to the bottom, or went to the bottom. And I mentioned that rising to the bottom just isn't as exciting, which is a fair statement. And then they see their signature, everything looks cool. I then pick up a triple, so casually push off two other cards, and get a triple break below the 10 hearts. Lift off with middle finger and thumb these two cards. I turn the whole deck down, as I've got my triple break right here, though it looks as one card. I turn this card over, and then I take the top card as I push into the middle, showing it briefly, random card, pulling inside with the thumb, and squaring up, as I mentioned, and and having the card found in the middle can be quite confusing, which makes logical sense. Square up all the cards, and then I do this. No one knows who to really credit for this stunt, though it's a cool one, where you do a dribble and you retain the last top two cards. It's something that you can naturally do just with a little bit of practice, and a lot of magicians do this. And I thought it was a cool thing to just throw in the ACR. Just after you square the cards, you just do a casual dribble, and then show the card is risen right to the top, and it's just staring them in the face. Looks so fair, direct, and no one. The first impression is, whoa, he actually got it. And the last thought for a spectator's mind is, this is a double. So we can show it, display it, and if you want to, you're in actually a perfect position to be able to just do the bendy phase of the ACR, where you can bend the card, put it right here, and then slide it off. Show that it's bent. You can see the bentness of it. Put it on top, the same face, forefinger, and then watch it go. Hold it with my fingers, boop, and then they can see the card rise right to the top. Boom, and then show the top card, and it's risen. I had just opted for, in this performance, to be able to, after I'm in this position, I just can show it, boom, drop it right on top, push it off, and then push off deal right there. And this is a cool phase as well, where you can just dribble the cards and then show it rose right to the top. Straight from bottom, straight to top. Looks cool. And for everyone questioning it, you can show the bottom card. Cool. So that's an idea as well. From here, I push off the cards, and then I let the cards slide. This is a... I know Shin Lim popularized it, and it might be a Shin Lim concept. I was playing with this idea independently, where the card is halfway. You push up the card halfway, right there, and it's still being kind of loosely held by the web of the hand right here, as I push off some cards. And then we let the card slide right here onto the pack. As we turn down and we push off the lowest card spread right here a little bit. So as we use this pack to lever the card face down for a brief moment to reposition it, as we turn face down, we're going to drop the lowest card of the spread and add it right there, very casually. Doesn't look very deceptive, though in motion. Drop it down. Oh, whoop. Again, motion. There we go. And it doesn't even have to be way too far out. It could be subtle. So let it drop down. Okay. Add it. And then add it right there. And it's already been swapped out. So it's a continuing motion, adding it right there. And no one's the wiser. Again. Right here. Halfway off. Okay. And you do it under the guise of needing someone's help. I'm gonna need your help as well. Can you help me out? I'm gonna need you to push the card in right there. And while all the misdirections right here, you do a card to mouth phase. Gain the card, push off the top card right here, and put it right in your lips. And you can show, I'll put this to the side for a moment. You can show that the card is on top. All the focus is here. Everyone's wondering how is it going to rise. And then they see you about the big surprise phase. Golden. Great. Now from here, you have two options really. You can be able to there's so much misdirection from here that you can do a turnover for the top card and be able to then add this card, the chosen signed card, add it to the pack. Now you got free double, turn it down, lose inside the pack, and then go into start mentioning about the prediction right there. Or you can just be casual after you pull it out, show it, oh that was a cool trick, and then start shuffling the cards, retaining it on top. That is the goal. I lost a little bit of track of the card in the performance, so that's why I had to do extra shuffles. It's just usually just one overhand shuffle, retaining it, and then there, boom. You want the pack face up, and from here you start to mention prediction, and from here we're going to do the usual Mercury card fold. If you don't know about it, there are many sources for it. They might cover it in, I believe, World's Greatest Magic. You should check which one actually has a Mercury card fold in it. It's just a great technique in general. There are other sources for it as well. In general, just real fast, I'm just going to do an overview, and there are better places to learn it. I'm just overviewing it real fast. Pushing it down, whoosh. And so it's a long thumb, press upon it right here, and then fingers right here. And this is under the guise of misdirecting over there. So let me go back. So we got the prediction right there. We've been building up to it the entire time, and the move is pretty well covered. Let me actually lower my hands. You want to focus on angles as well. I'm also trying to think, how much do I want to flash while going into it, while trying to also make it look natural and deceptive. So boom, I've already folded halfway right here, and then you're going to use your thumb. The next fold is going to be around your thumb, and we try to get it as close as we can to within it to looking like the folded card. So we try to get the folds as well as we can. So a bunch of cards will have to be destroyed while you practice the Mercury card fold. So we push it, and then boom. John Armstrong has some wonderful ideas. I was trying to find the card box so I can do it, though you could actually Mercury card fold with the card box as you put the cards away, which was John Armstrong's wonderful idea. Credit to him. So from here, we've got this situation. We folded up the card, and we misdirected by saying we've got the thing. We can even let the spectator lift off the glass as added misdirection time. Okay, I'll just place it right here. So we folded up the card, boom, boom. Again, motion. So we've shuffled up the cards. So since the beginning, I remember I made a prediction as well about the card under the glass. It's been there the whole time. We've been building up to it. And I want to do something amazing. Here, you could even lift it off. You know, I'll just lift it off right here. Okay? And I won't even need the rest of the cards for this. Been sealed under a paper clip the whole time. Ooh la la. We're going to do something amazing. And while it could be a prediction of the card you had freely selected, mind you, and so this is just some ideas on how to do the presentation of it. One prediction of it, lo and behold, and that is the selection. There we go. I don't want to go too much into paperclip, as I really, really respect Jay Sankey and his work on it. He really made something wonderful with this. I know people always note this particular thing of all of his work because it's just so great. Though briefly, just briefly, so I can just be able to cover everything for this, we fold Mercury card fold up the card. I'm just going to give a very general thing because I really want to respect his work. Okay, got the paperclip card. Card comes over, and then we take the whole card and the paperclip and lift up, giving this sound. As we have the card right here with the paperclip, everything just goes to the pocket. Card is casually switched in. Open up the card. You could be fair about it. Hands open, and then boom. Impossible. Great. And through this routine, we were able to avoid a couple things. We were able, or add a couple things. First, we were able to give logicality, which has been a struggle for me for years. Thinking, why does this card rise to the top? We give some reasoning. We eliminate other methods of how the card can rise, duplicates and stuff of that nature. We have an impossible, wonderful ending to the effect, which is a classic of many magicians using paperclipped to do that. And also as well, we avoid just this thing in general. I know it's a great move. I know people will say many things about it. It helps the whole routine and all the stuff of that nature. It's just, I don't know. Even though people won't, it'll go by spectators, there's just something about that. I just think that so much more naturally is to be able, if you're going to have to add a card and do a switch out, just something to be able to just show the two of spades and then just continuing the motion and having the whole switch out being done like so just seems so much more natural about it, and it makes it more organic. I just want the whole thing to be organic, feel natural, and just being a continuous thing instead of having to just go lead up to this moment so that you can continue the routine. I just want to be able to just keep on going the routine and not feel limited by having to do a move to reset for the next phase. Though, that could just be me. So, hope everyone enjoyed this explanation. Tried to go into all depths of it. And this is just my thoughts, my general thoughts on the ACR plot. And some of it isn't new. It's just, I wanted to put some specific things in here to make it really, really feel smooth and natural to it. And if I was performing ACR, it'd likely look like this. Or something like this. So with that said, if you are an intermediate magician seeking to learn some other secrets, then definitely check out my channel, like and subscribe, as I cover a lot of magic you would love, and they're in the playlist, so check the channel out. Lots of cool stuff. And if you're new to magic and you want to learn the real secrets of magic, because this was very confusing to you, then definitely check out the Zero to Hero magic system, link in the description below, as I will actually cover and you will be able to perform, or you can perform, an entire magic act within just 2 months. So again, links down in the description. And if you haven't checked out this video yet, definitely check it out, and I will see you in the next one.